Am I the a-hole for the way I punished my son for what he said about his friend? I, 36M, have a 15-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter, both of whom have been friends with our neighbor, Ron, 17M, since childhood. Recently, my daughter and Ron were hanging out with a friend and came into our house. My son, who was home with me, let out a big sigh when he saw Ron and asked why he was there. I was confused, and that's when my son vented about being tired of Ron always being around. He also made hurtful comments about Ron's sexuality. Ron is gay. This was shocking because my son had never expressed any issues with Ron before, and they had always been close. Ron was visibly hurt by the comments and offered to leave, but I insisted he stay. Ron, however, decided to leave anyway. My daughter and I were upset, and I admit we raised our voices. I asked my son what his problem was, and he yelled back, saying he just didn't want to be around Ron all the time. I tried to stay calm and asked why he would say something like that, but my son refused to explain, only repeatedly saying he was sorry. At this point, my daughter had already left with Ron. I told my son that I raised him better than this, and he started crying. In the heat of the moment, I decided to ground him. I took away his phone, PS5, and all his electronics, leaving him only the TV in his room without the remote. He begged me not to go through with it, but I stood firm and told him he needed to apologize to Ron the next morning. Now I'm conflicted. My daughter supports my decision, but when I spoke to Ron, he suggested I let it go, assuring me he'd be okay. I tried talking to my son again, but he is refusing to talk to me and keeps saying, "Please leave me alone quietly." I don't think I'm wrong for grounding him, but I'm wondering if I went too far, considering this is the first time he said something like this. Am I the a-hole for how I grounded him?